Hey guys, it's Miniku back with another GTA 5 tutorial, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be going over how to use the camera angles and the camera features in Rockstar Editor. But before I get into that, please be sure to drop a like and also subscribe if you guys are new, and if this video helps you out, let me know in the comment section below. And then also if it doesn't, also let me know in the comment section below so I can help you guys out. And with that, I'll see you guys, so let's get straight into this video. So first things first, I just want to quickly mention that if you are recording in the military base in this sort of area, then you want to be careful because there's like a circle that goes around here that if you go within this barrier, as you can see, what I'll do is I'll move down the runway a bit. As you'll see in a minute, if you do go along and you go in that barrier, you will no longer be allowed to edit that video camera angle. So here, if I start recording, as you can see, there's no message that's popped up. So if I slowly make my way towards the barrier, you'll see a message pop up about now. See, so please note that recordings made at this time won't allow for camera changes within Rockstar Editor. So basically, that's a barrier that kind of goes right around here and makes its way right around here. And the funny thing is, it happens to be right where the UFO crashes from gun running DLC. And then the weird thing is that this camera barrier has been in the game before gun running came out, well before gun running came out. So they've obviously been planning for that crash UFO, but that's for another video. Another thing to think about, well, mainly you have to think about this while you're in, you are in Rockstar Editor, but it's easy to show you right now while we are out here, and that is a thing called the 180 rule, or the 180 line. So basically what this is like a, say if you pretend these two jets are people, and they're talking to each other, and if you wanted to film these two people talking, or these two jets talking, or whatever, or just two vehicles maybe facing each other or something, what you want to do is you want to follow the 180 rule. And so what that is a line that goes across the screen. And what I mean by that is, let's pretend this yellow line is the 180 line. Well, it basically is, that's where the 180 line will be. And basically if you start, or if you do your first shot on this side, then that means the Hydra will be on the right side of the screen and the lasers on the left side of the screen. Now you want to stay on this side of the line. Anywhere you can be on the side of the line, just as long as you keep those two in their positions on the screen, which means you're staying on this side of the line. Now if at any point you cross that line and you move over to this side, as you see they've swapped places. You've got the Hydra on the left side of the screen and the laser on the right side of the screen. So that's what the 180 rule basically is. So you can be as close as you can to the 180 rule, or the 180 line, and you will still see the Hydra is technically still on the right and the laser is still on the left. And yeah, so it's still like, you know, if we go over here, it's still the same thing. The laser's technically on the left. Yeah, so it's something you got to think about more in Rockstar Editor while editing cameras. And this also applies when you have two vehicles or two people walking next to each other. Say this Hydra is moving in that direction, and so basically what will happen is, if you do your first shot on this side, then you want to stay on this side because the Hydra is moving from right to left. And if at any point you move over to this side, then all of a sudden the Hydra is moving from left to right, and it just looks funny when it comes to editing. It may look good in the actual camera angles and stuff, but when it comes to editing and you put all the videos together, then it just doesn't fit well. It looks real weird, and yeah, unless that's your purpose in the video, you're actually wanting to give it that effect of it looking like what it will look like. But yeah, unless you're wanting to do it on purpose, then I recommend not doing it. And also, if you guys are beginners, I recommend don't recording or trying to make cinematics for planes, because that is real hard. Do that later on when you're a bit more comfortable with Rockstar Editor, because it does get annoying. I know with that B11 Strike Force showcase, it got real annoying for me, and so I rushed it a lot. So I recommend doing like car shows. Just maybe host a car show or join a car show and record it, and then just play around with camera angles and stuff like that, because that's by far the easiest one to do. So let's move on into Roxy Editor. So once you're in Roxy Editor, you want to come to cameras, and these are the different cameras you've got here. You've got game camera, which is the camera that you recorded while you were recording. So sorry if that made no sense, but like if you see, like, that's going to show what was showing on your screen while you were recording and what you were doing with your game camera. So the next thing is free camera. So that's everything that you could do with the camera. That's what I use all the time. Then you've got presets, which are pretty much the exact same, but it just presets it to that part, so you can and it kind of locks it to that side as well. So if we go back to free camera, you've got look type, or look at target, sorry, and that is if you want to look at your player or not. Then you've got move with target, so that's going to move with the player. You've got flexible, which means it will just stay in the spot and it won't turn with the target. And then you've got rigid, which means it will stick to the target and it'll move with it and everything. and then you've got default, which I believe it doesn't follow rolling or tilting or anything like that. It just only moves with it. But yeah, so if we go back to, we'll turn that off. We've got blend mode, which is how to animate the cameras, and I'll show you how to do that soon, so we'll just skip this part for now. And then we've got shake, which is the different effects that you can add to your shake, and you've got your intensity, so you can make it real violent or real shallow. And then you've got your shake speed, so you can speed it up or you can slow it right down. So you got different things like this, and then you've got your camera or your edit camera, so you can move it around and stuff. So what we'll do is, the first thing we'll do is we'll do like a static shot, or we'll do like a standing, like just a normal shot where it's by itself. So what I'll do is I'll always, every time, you'll notice that I always add a little bit of a tilt, about that much. My first videos I added like that much, and it just got crazy. So I normally add like about that much. Also, I add a zoom. See, I think this is like the default zoom here, and you can see the difference. Look at the difference in the camera when you add a zoom to it. See, right now it just looks ugly. If you add a zoom to it, it kind of makes the car pop out. It kind of shows you what you're meant to be looking at, whereas you're not looking at the buildings in the background or anything. And also you can do that with the depth of field as well. So if we change the depth of field to custom, and we'll make it manual, we can make it so it only shows the car, and it just keeps it like that. It just makes it look nice. So for now, we'll just we'll turn that off, and we'll do this. So basically we'll have it about here, and if we play it, we'll probably move it about here, because this is a drift montage. We want the car to drift into the screen, so we'll see it kind of does that. Maybe as you see the wheels turned at about this spot here, so if we move it to about here, then that looks nicer. Maybe we'll add a bit of a height to it like that. That looks a bit better. And then what we'll do is, because this is a standard shot, we'll maybe add a handheld effect to it, and we will slow it down. So that's another. So that's how I kind of go through each shot. Now, if we wanted to make a animating shot, we'll just turn off everything, and we'll move the camera. So if we wanted to, let's say we want it to come along here, we'll put it over here, and then what we'll do is we'll then use our right analog stick to move it along the timeline, and you'll see it will go through the camera, but that's alright. Maybe about here, So what we want to do is press X to add a keyframe, go to cameras, and then edit the camera. So what we'll do is we'll move it to about here. And then what I always do is I always add a zoom to the camera. So I add about that much zoom. We might tilt it in the other direction this time. So what we'll do is we'll go to blend mode. So when you use blend mode, you've got linear or smooth, and that's it. Blend easing is basically, think of the speed in like a graph or something. You would see it go up, it would start slow and it would start to make its way up, and then at the next keyframe it will go back down. So I'll show you right here. See, if we leave it on, it goes slow and then it speeds up, and then when it gets to the next keyframe it will slow back down and it will just ease it off. Whereas if you turn it off like this, then it just stays normal speed, the same speed throughout the whole thing, and it will stop, make a sudden stop like that. So it's not smooth. So that's what the blend easing does, and I never use blend easing, and I will tell you why in a sec. But yeah, so linear is just from one key point to the exact next key point. Smooth is if you have, let's say we've got a third key point over, we'll move it about here, and let's move it over to about here. So we've got another key point about here or something. What will happen is if we leave it on smooth, alright, we'll put these all on smooth. What will happen is, as you see, real quick, so this keyframe's here, the next keyframe's over to the right of it, and then the next keyframe's kind of in front of it. So it's almost like making a half circle right now with the keyframes where the cameras are. So if we put it on, it will kind of skip where you won't notice it as much, but it'll kind of skip where this one goes, and it does funny things like that. So this is, a lot of people prefer to use smooth. As you can see right now, it's trying to ease it off, even though it's meant to stop right here. It's meant to stop right there, but it's delayed. So you'll notice with all my videos I have it with music, and I can't have smooth because it's always delayed and it always goes funny. So I never ever use smooth, just because it goes out of time, and sometimes it does weird things. So yeah. Now the reason why I turn off blend easing is this. So as you can see right now, we've got this camera angle right now. So what I'll do is we'll turn this linear off. We'll turn this linear off. So it goes like that. Now what I'll normally do is I would press X, hold L1, and then use the right analog stick to move it across. And I'll move it as far as I can over to the left, and then I'll edit this camera to another position. So what's going to happen is we'll move it to about here. So what's going to happen now is, in keyframe, or in frame, whatever the frame this is, the next frame it will suddenly jump to this shot here. And so if we make it play along a bit, and then we'll add another keyframe about here, showing the car maybe like this, or we'll maybe let it go out of shot. And then we'll add a linear to this, and as you can see, it almost follows it, and then it just goes off screen like that. So what will happen is, if we go like this, we'll play it along, and then it will hit the keyframe, and it will suddenly hit the next keyframe, and it'll jump, boom, like that. So it keeps it nice and smooth. And if you're wanting to fast action shots, let's say, we'll just speed this up by 2. And so if you wanted to have action shots, well, we'll move that up by 2 as well. If you want fast action shots, as you see, it can keep it up pace. It doesn't go out of time, and that's purely why I do that. You can sometimes get nice, clean looking movements and stuff when you have no blend easing on. It just keeps everything rolling, and it gives that kind of moving feel. But yeah, that's literally everything that you do with the camera. A few tips is, you don't want to be too far away and zoom right in. Some effects, if you're wanting to do an opening shot, that's what can look nice if you have it like that and you maybe make it pan up like this. But if you're wanting to do like, you know, normal shots, I recommend, let's bring this back, I recommend being close to the car like this, or even being maybe about here and zooming in like this, so you get nice looking shots. Also, use the zoom, really use the zoom on the camera, because that's what's going to make it look really cinematic and really nice. And then also add a little bit of a tilt. Don't go insane and have something stupid like that. Just have like a, you know, just a little tiny touch of tilt. That's what's going to look nice. And also try and not to use too much when animating the camera. Try not to animate the camera to do too many tilts and stuff like this, or else it's going to be like you're on a cruise ship and it's in rough seas or something like that. So you don't want to be, you know, going crazy with animations with the tilt. And the same goes with zooms. You don't want to be always zooming in all the time. Never zoom out. Zoom outs look ugly. So you always want to be zooming in, but don't always zoom in. If you're not going to zoom in, just stay static like this. Never add a zoom. But if you do have zooms throughout the whole thing, have some zooms that go intense like this, and then have some zooms that just maybe do that. Just a slight little tiny thing. But yeah, that's literally all. That's just a few tips of editing camera angles and stuff like that. So hopefully this video did help you guys. Sorry if it dragged on too long, but I just wanted to try and get everything out of the way with camera angles. And next week I will get into more of the audio side of things in Roxy Editor, and how I do my audio with my editing software and all that sort of stuff. So stay tuned for that. And also I'll try my best to get a drift montage uploaded later tonight / early tomorrow if I can. So with that, I'll see you guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, leave a like and also subscribe to stay tuned, and leave a comment in the comment section below to let me know your thoughts and opinions on the Roxy Editor and these tutorials. And with that out of the way, guys, I'll see you in my next video.